Hi guys, how's everyone doing during this MCO 2.0 plus emergency?
We cannot talk to anyone outside of like a screen. How is that great?
I'm okay, but I have to counter Luffy's argument. We can go out. People are out. It's like nothing's really happened. There are cars on the road, malls are open, IKEA is open. So actually, I'm confused.
I myself am very confused right now. I mean, we have gone through MCO March last year, and this is MCO 2.0 plus emergency, and I thought it's going to be a lot stricter. Yeah, what does it mean really to us, our democratic rights as a citizen?
I think a lot of experts are, to a certain extent, still reserving comment. In Malaysian history, we've seen an emergency declared 4 or 5 times, depends on who's counting. Take, for example, there was one lesser known one in 1966, where the federal government declared a state of emergency in Sarawak because there was a constitutional crisis brewing when the chief minister was basically ousted by the Dewan when they pledged their support to another candidate. From my understanding of it, because there wasn't a provision for this back then, for a chief minister to gain support outside of the state assembly, outside of I'm not sure what they call the Dewan Undangan Negeri in Sarawak, which, was an issue for some concern. Mind you, this was in 1966. So that particular incident is being used right now in 2021 as an underlying reason for why this emergency is quote unquote constitutional. But some lawyers are of the view that between 1966 to 2021, there has been a lot of developments on that front, and we have come to accept other ways of, in a way, resolving leadership disputes. And we have seen leadership disputes happen even as recent as a couple of months ago with the Perak State Assembly, where the state was dissolved and then a new one came into power without any elections called and without any state of emergency. What is interesting, however, about this is based on conversations that I've had with a few lawyers, people who you could call them experts in this area, is the suspension of parliament and of state assemblies is not automatic. Just because you declare an emergency, it does not mean that these legislative houses are automatically suspended. However, in our particular instance right now, we've seen an emergency ordinance which has basically suspended those houses, those legislative houses. And that also means that any way of communicating like what the people want or need is a bit more tricky, is a bit more challenging, because previously we had parliament, we had state assemblies. No one is going to pretend that the politicians did a good job, but at least you knew that if you pressured your wakil rakyat enough, your members of parliament enough, those issues will be raised up. And if there's any issues with legislation, these are the deputies that you speak to. And this is also how law is made, because it's through consultation, through debate, and you make new law or you adjust other laws that are already in existence. When they can't play those roles and they're not allowed to effectively play their part as lawmakers, what happens then? What is the purpose of law if not to look after our interests? So this is a very strange time. The reason that is being given for the emergency declaration is that we needed to keep the pandemic in check. Is there an element of overreach here?